On 1st of March at 11 o'clock, the price of Reliance Petroleum Limited security is rupees 600. Mr. X is expecting, highlight the portion, price of the security will decrease. So he is selling security at the rate of 600 rupees in spot market. Highlight the portion further without holding it. At 2 o'clock, as per expectation of Mr. X, price of the security falls down to rupees 580. At that time, he is purchasing the security. You are required to, there are 4 questions provided to us. The first question is profit or loss that Mr. X is able to make from above set of the transactions, and so on. Further questions are there. I request you to give answer for the first part of the question in the chat box. So friends, over here the question is providing the information that Mr. X entered into a transaction to sell security. When you enter into the transaction to sell security without holding it, it is basically given a name as naked short position. In cash market, that is a technical name. The term short stands for you enter into the transaction for sale. Naked short position in cash market means you enter into the transaction for selling of the security without holding it. The price at which you have entered into the transaction for sale is 600. Later on, the price of the security falls down and you buy the security, you purchase the security. The price at which you purchase the security is 580. So difference of both of them is profit or loss. There is a profit of 20 rupees that you are able to make. This is what we understand. Now friends, basically when you enter into two opposite transactions in one day, it is basically given a technical name as intraday transaction. And in intraday transaction, whatever the difference of the sale price and the purchase price is the profit or loss that you are able to make. So I request all of you to write down answer. In this question, Mr. X has entered into transaction of naked short position in cash market. Second point, entering into two opposite transactions at one point of time is called intraday transactions. Full stop. With paragraph write down, calculation of profit or loss. In that write down, sale price minus purchase price 600 minus 580, that comes to 20 rupees. With paragraph write down, difference between sale price and purchase price is considered to be profit or loss to the trader. Second question, explain short position on cash market. Let an answer. Short position on cash market means selling security without holding security. So basically over here what happens at say at 11 o'clock when you are selling the security, you don't hold the security even though you are entering into the transaction for sale. That is what's technically given a name as short position. Explain long position on cash market. Dear students, if at all you have purchased equity share of a company or you have purchased the venture of a company, then in that case it is technically given a name as you are having a long position. Long position means you are holding security. That is the simple thing. That an answer? Long position on cash market means holding investment. Full stop. It is a transaction of purchasing security and holding it. One more thing that I would like to explain you over here is like this. As far as the transactions in the market are concerned, the transactions in the market is consisting of, or you can enter into three types of transactions in the market. We are going to understand that in detail, but just for the purpose of understanding, I give you explanation. There is a term that we understand as cash market. It is also considered to be spot market. Then there is futures market, and there is option market. As far as the cash market or the spot market is concerned, it is basically, in a simple language, we understand that say whatever the transactions that we enter into day to day, that is for purchasing of the Reliance, selling of the Reliance, purchasing of TCS, selling of TCS. I purchase the shares, I hold it for some time period, then I sell it, I have a portfolio. All those things are basically falling in the cash market. It means that so you have done some transaction for selling of the security, purchasing of the security, all those things are taking place in the cash market. There is a term that say we are going to understand called futures market, and there is a term that say we are going to understand called option market. What is that say that we are going to discuss slightly later on. Next question. In which situation a trader takes long position? In which situation a trader takes short position on cash market? I request you to give answer for the question in the chat box. The question says that say in which market condition, what is your anticipation about the market to change based on which you will take long position or short position. So basically we understand like this: position on cash market, and we understand that's the price expectation. You take a long position in the cash market, then you're expecting that the price of the security will go up in a way that the price of the security will increase. And when you expect, that is, say you take a short position, it means that say you're expecting the price of the security to decrease. That is what we understand. What I want to tell you, friends, is that basically you enter into the transaction for long in cash market when you're expecting the price of the security to go up, and vice versa. In this question we can say something like this: that at 11 o'clock Mr. X saw that so the price of the security is 600. He was expecting that the price of the security will fall down, so he entered into the transaction for short position on the cash market. At 2 o'clock, he was fortunate enough that say his price expectation proved to be correct. So technically it is called that say he entered into the long position to cover the short position. In a way that say to cover or to square off the original transaction, you need to enter into the opposite transaction. Initially you entered into the transaction for short. Why? Because you were expecting the price to fall down. Later on your expectation proved to be correct, and you enter into the opposite transaction to square off your original position. So this is the way we understand is the transaction in which the trader will enter upon. I request you to write down answer. Now I want to discuss one more point over here. Everybody is requested to pay attention. The question is providing the information that at 11 o'clock the price of the security was 600 and the trader entered into the transaction for short position. Why? Because his expectation was price will fall down. Let us say that say a trader was expecting some news, and based on that say he was expecting that the price will fall down. But unfortunately by end of the market that news did not come in the market, and unfortunately the price of the security went up to 700 rupees. His expectation was that the price will fall down, so he entered into this transaction. But unfortunately the price went up. Now, what the trader can do, that is what we are discussing. Now, what the trader can do, that is what say now I'm discussing with you. The first thing that a trader can do, the trader can square off the transaction of the short position by taking long position in the cash market, in which he will be having a loss of 100. That is what's the first alternative that the trader has. Simply your expectation did not prove to be correct. So now, so you book a loss of 100 rupees. That is the first thing. Second thing, let's say what the trader can do. The trader can enter into the transaction for borrowing of the stock. Now, what do we understand with the term borrowing of the stock? That is what I am explaining to you. The trader can enter into the transaction in which the trader, that is Mr. X, can borrow security from the market. There is a mechanism by which you can borrow the security from the market. Let me introduce a few names, with that so you'll have more clarity. Mr. X, Mr. A, and Mr. P. Mr. X entered into the transaction for sale of the security. Let us say that's opposite to that. Mr. A entered into the transaction to purchase the security. Mr. A sold the security at the rate of 600. So of course Mr. A purchased the security at the rate of 600. By end of the market, what happens at say the Mr. X has not entered into the transaction for purchasing the security. Now what Mr. A will do, Mr. A will pay to his broker an amount of rupees 600, and he will tell his broker that credit the security in my demat account. However, Mr. X does not have security. So through the mechanism of the market, Mr. X is approaching to Mr. P. Mr. P is a trader who is already having the security of the Reliance. And Mr. P has registered himself that I am ready to lend the security if somebody wants to borrow. Let us say that the Mr. X is borrowing security for a time period of 7 days. So what Mr. X will do? Mr. X will borrow security from Mr. P, and he will square off his short position on the cash market. This is what say he will do. During this 7 days time period, why Mr. X is doing like this? Because he is very much hopeful that when that news will come in the market, then the price of the security will definitely fall. Let us say that during the 7 days, price of the security is falling down to 550 during this 7 days time period. So what Mr. X will do? Mr. X will purchase security at the rate of 550 and will refund security to Mr. P. So what will happen as far as Mr. X is concerned, from Mr. X point of view, he already had sold security for 600. He purchased security at 550 for the purpose of refunding. And along with that, say he is required to make the payment of the charges to Mr. P. Why? Because Mr. P lent security to Mr. X. That is the way, say Mr. X will have, say, the final profit or loss from the transaction. And friends, it may happen that say the 7 days expire, and unfortunately that say the news information was wrong and the price did not went down, say that is say did not go down. Instead of that, say the price further increased, and let us say that the price increases to 800. Now Mr. X is expecting that say now the price will further increase, so no problem, let me now purchase the security at 800, and I will give delivery of the security, say, to Mr. P. The sale price of the security was 600, purchase price is 800, and of course you are required to make the payment of the charges to Mr. P. What I want to tell you, dear students, is that Mr. X is responsible. Mr. X is responsible to give delivery of the security. It means that, say, Mr. P is required to purchase the security from the spot market and it will be delivered to Mr. P. Whether the price decreases or the price increases, that risk is required to be borne by Mr. X only. That is the way, say, Mr. X can take advantage of the, like, the borrowing system, that is the stock of, that is the system which is there in the market. It is called a kind of, say, the borrowing of the stock transaction, in which circumstances a trader will enter into the borrowing of the stock transaction. If at all a trader has entered into the naked short position and he is expecting that, so the price will definitely fall down, then in that case, say, in order to have more time period to see the price of the security falls down, he can enter into the transaction for borrowing of the stock. So now I am dictating a note for this to you. One more thing that I want to explain over here is that basically from Mr. P point of view, that is the lender of the security, is usually a long-term investor who has decided to hold that investment for a long time period. That is what we understand. So from Mr. P point of view, we understand that, say, he was otherwise going to hold the security. So by lending the stock, he will be able to earn some income without any risk. Because during this time period, if at all there is any dividend payment to the investor, then in that case, say, that dividend amount is also required to be compensated by Mr. X. One more important point over here is, throughout the explanation, you must have observed that I have ignored this 700 rupees, the price of the security at the end of the first day. What I want to tell you is that, say, during this 7 days, that is time period, if the price is falling down, in that case Mr. X will gain. If the price is going up, then in that case Mr. X will incur a loss. So whatever the fluctuation of the price risk is there for Mr. X only. That is what we understand. As far as this 700 rupees price is concerned, that is absolutely not a price to be considered anywhere. That on heading borrowing of stock. In that write down, first point, in order to cover short position on cash market, comma, trader can borrow security, full stop. Second point, Mr. X can borrow security to square off short position on cash market, comma, if prices have gone up by end of market and Mr. X is expecting price of security to fall. It means that the price has already gone up and he is expecting the price will fall down. Then in that case, say he will enter into the borrowing of the stock. Third point, lender of security will be paid a fixed amount of charges to borrower, sorry, I'm sorry, fixed amount of the charges by borrower, full stop. Further, if there is any benefit of long position forgone, comma, it is also required to be compensated. Full stop. Fourth, Mr. X will gain if price decreases and vice versa. In short, ultimately you will make a profit if at all there is a reduction in the price, otherwise you will have a loss. A summary of the entire answer. In this question we have understood one thing, that say the intraday transaction means entering into two opposite transactions in a day. One is sale, another is buy. The sequence is not important, maybe buy and sell or maybe sell and buy. The difference between both of them is a profit or loss that say you have, and that is basically the intraday transaction. You're expecting the price to go up, then you will buy, and if at all you're expecting the price to go down, then in that case you will sell. Technically it is called long position, short position. These transactions are taking place say in the cash market or say in the spot market. That is what say we understand. Basically when you're expecting the price to go up, you'll go for the long position, otherwise it is short position. The important point over here, say which I wanted to explain through this question, is the automatic lending and borrowing system, wherein we understand that say it may happen that say you have entered into the transaction for sale, by end of the market the prices have gone up unfortunately against your expectation instead of going down. If at all the prices have gone up, then in that case, one is that say you square off your like short position by purchasing the stock at the closing price. In that case you will have a fixed amount of the loss and you are going out of the market. The other is that say you borrow the stock. In that case, say you will borrow a stock for a specific time period, and this stock you will first of all deliver to the trader who has entered into the transaction for purchase. So basically, let's say the trader who has entered into the transaction for purchase is immediately going out of the market. Now, you and the lender of the security, you and the lender of the security will remain. If at all the prices are falling down, then in that case, say you will purchase the security at the spot price to refund the security because you had initially borrowed. So what will happen? Sale price, purchase price, and these are the charges which are required to be paid. That is the amount to the lender of the security. That is the way it will result into the net profit or loss. The other thing is that, say, it may happen, unfortunately, the prices are further going up instead of going down, and you're expecting that, say, now it will further go up, and so now you want to book your loss. Then in that case, again, you will purchase at 800. Your sale price is fixed 600. Along with that, so you're required to make the payment of charges. That is the way you will have a kind of profit or loss. Basically, say a trader who has entered into the short position in the cash market will give some time period more to see the price fluctuation, and with that, say, he will be able to make a gain. Lender of the security is able to make some gain by like lending of the stock, and that is the additional gain that, say, he will have apart from the dividend or the bonus or right issue advantage that, the holder of the security was supposed to get.